Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it right there. Off the Dome, that's the name of this podcast. Welcome to the Off the Dome Sports Podcast. Usually we got Byron sitting over there. He's going to be back here in just a second. He had to work the video for us tonight due to the lack of sound man. But in between us, you'll see a familiar face if you watched us before. We got Gage Gill in studio. Gage, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How y'all doing?
Good. Glad to see you again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Off the Dome Sports Podcast, your favorite sports podcast where two sports lovers and sometimes three sit here and give their hot takes off the dome. First, we want to shout out Ezzy for that intro song. It is promptly named Off the Dome. Great name for a song. Great name for this podcast. Go ahead and give him a listen. That's E-Z-Z-I, Ezzy, on Spotify. If you're watching in live right now, we want to thank you for watching us on Radio House Studios. Whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, thank you for watching in. If not, it means you're listening in on newrockradio.us. Make sure to listen in on newrockradio.us 24/7, 365 for the best and your favorite rock music. Also, go ahead, give newcountryradio.us a listen. Great radio stations, got some good country songs on there, over 600 songs on the playlist. I personally love it. I know you will too. Also, check us out on Facebook and YouTube, our own podcast channels, Off the Dome Sports Podcast on both platforms. Follow us on Twitter at @off_the_dome pod. And then we've got a sponsor as well. He's a familiar face for Gage, that's for sure. Last time he forgot about him, but we won't let him forget this time. That's Mr. Sean Brignac with Brignac Mortgage.
Brignac Mortgage.
There it is. President and CEO Sean Brignac. He'll assist you in all your lending needs, residential, investment, commercial properties, doesn't matter. Check out Sean on YouTube. He's Sean Brignac. Or go ahead and check out his website, www.brignacmortgage.com. Thank you to Sean and Brignac Mortgage for supporting the Off the Dome Sports Podcast and supporting Gage Gill. Now, before we get on to the podcast, we want to talk about something big that's happening for us tomorrow. Not necessarily for the Off the Dome Sports Podcast, but for Radio House Studios in general tomorrow. Tell them what we got going on, B.
So tomorrow we got our friends from 225liveevents.com coming into the Radio House for their first look at what we're doing here. You know, they're giving them a little tour. They're going to join up and promote the radio station and the podcast, so that's plus for us. Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing them here in studio. If you don't know who they are, they're a free service that outlines the weekend's live music in and around the Baton Rouge area.
Yeah, before we got on here, I decided to go ahead, look at the list of what they got going on that website, and just so happened you popped up on there, my boy.
Oh, yeah. Sour Candy, my band, is playing tomorrow night in the 225 at Fat Cats in Prairieville, starting at 9 p.m., playing until like 1 a.m. Should be a fun time.
Yeah, make sure to check out B and Sour Candy, Fat Cat Saloon in Prairieville, starting at 9. They play all the time. Make sure to follow them on Facebook, too, Sour Candy Band. Great band. And then shout out to 225 Live Events one more time. Really, really appreciate them coming into the studio, see what we got going on. We love them. They love us. Working out great. Another thing we got going on next Wednesday, December 7th, She Might Be a Beast is coming into the studio as well. Check them out. We've got Thug Nasty and Shane I Love Kareed is going to be hosting that one. So we won't be here, but we will be supporting from afar. So make sure to check out She Might Be a Beast on Radio House Studios accounts next Wednesday. And one more thing before we really get into this. On Tuesday or on Monday when we had our last episode, we announced that we are selling T-shirts. So first of all, if you're interested in buying a T-shirt from us, we really appreciate you. It's just our logo on a gold T-shirt. You'll see it on all of our platforms. That's our logo. So if you're interested in that, please email offthedomesportspod@gmail.com. Just give us your name, your address, email address, and then size, and the amount of shirts you want.
Size is important.
Size is very important.
Matters.
I wasn't going to say it. But, yeah, make sure to email offthedomesportspod@gmail.com with any questions as well as your order. And then we also said we are doing a giveaway tonight. So the way we're going to do that is we are going to check the chat after we ask you this one question. So our question for you, this one goes out to our loyal listeners. How many different guests has Off the Dome Sports Podcast had in studio? Ooh. Not only that, but you have to name at least half of them. So I'll give you a hint. We've had at least one, and he's sitting in between us. Can you name the other ones? You have to give us how many and name at least half. So even if you don't know more than half of them, just name half of them and give us the number of how many we've had. That is your question. If you were the first one to answer that question tonight, you will get a free T-shirt. The only people who are ineligible are Soundman, Byron's family, and my family. Everybody else, it is completely up for grabs. So if you're in the chat, go ahead and drop that number with the names of at least half of those guests, and you'll get a free T-shirt. Now, we're done with the business talk. Let's get into why we're here.
Well,
What's up?
we got an answer
We got an answer.
from Cameron Knockhand.
Cameron Knockan.
Mr. Knockin.
He said 3, which is incorrect.
Incorrect, Knockan. Sorry, buddy.
And I'm not going to say the names. Well, actually, they can see it, so it doesn't really matter. But he said Gage and Michael Lewis, which Which
Those
is
are
two.
two people we have had in studio. However, the number of guests we've had is wrong. So anybody out there who's watching, you now know it. You know 2 guests, but you don't know the amount, and you don't know if that's half. You don't know if that's less than half, more than half. You don't know what's going on. So
Good
just
job,
make sure to
Knockan.
keep on guessing in the chat. Sorry, Knockan, and don't just keep spamming the chat, Knockan. We're not going to give you the answer. You expired. Sorry, bud. But yeah, like I said, the reason we're here, we got Gage the Gremlin Gill in studio, sitting in between us. Happy to have him here. Just a little intro if you don't know about Gage. He's from right around the corner, right down the road. He is an MMA fighter, and he is 3-0 professionally after his last November 19th fight against Langston Sykes in the Empire Fighting Championship. So, yeah, without any further ado, let's talk to him, Gage. So, I know last night I went back and I watched the fight. I looked from bell to bell. It was 2 minutes and 50 seconds. I mean, you can't ask for much more there. Ended another opponent in the first round. Just walk us through the fight real quick.
I started off trying to feel my range out, and he ended up throwing a leg kick that I caught, and I threw my own head kick off of that and had him wobbled. We ended up colliding and clinching up, took him down, and then it's pretty much over with after that.
Yeah, that kind of goes right into the first question I wanted to ask you. It was about 50 seconds in where, he went for that kick. You grabbed his foot, and then within about 30 seconds, you wrestled him into the cage, got him on the ground. Once you get him onto the ground and you're in that wrestling position, what's going through your mind?
I'm trying to, get wrist control and pretty much lock him down, make it as hard as possible for him to, escape. If I feel like he's going to try and really explode to escape, then I'm going to hold it longer and not look for the damage right away, because if I'm punching or something at the time he's exploding, then he's more than likely going to escape. So control, then damage, or control, then submission.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like you stayed really composed once you got into that ground position, which is kind of what I want to ask you about. Was there any kind of specific training that you may have done differently than you have done in the past? What did you really focus on leading into this fight? What did you see from him in the past? Like, what was the training like for this fight?
Training was basically the same as all of them, because, we felt like I could have took it anywhere if I really wanted to. Just so happens we like I said, we collided or clinched up as we both threw a punch at the same time, and I just felt like I wanted to take it there once that happened. So, yeah, so far since I went pro, I've turned into a ground fighter. So we'll see if the stand up will show in the near future.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah.
So what I want to know, like the day of the fight, walk us through like your routine from, waking up till it's time to fight.
Day of the fight, I try to wake up somewhat at a decent time, around like 9 o'clock. And probably not supposed to do this, but I like to go to Waffle House and get a good breakfast. So I do that, and then I try to get a good nap in. I don't know, a good 2-hour nap in, and then we got to go do a shakeout, which we did at like 1 or 2. Shakeout is just basically hitting mitts or, moving around, getting a sweat going after that initial weight cut, and then the rehydration just makes you feel better. And then we got to go to the venue at like 4 or 5 for fighter meeting, and then I just sit there and wait pretty much until it's time to wrap my hands and then start hitting mitts and warming up again for the fight itself.
Doesn't sound like a bad day at all. You know, get some good sleep, get some good breakfast. I mean, you're living the life, man.
Yeah, dude.
Soundman said, shouldn't be hard to get a sweat going after Waffle House.
Yeah, true.
Nakhan says he has another answer.
I don't.
But
Nakhan, you lost.
See, Nakhan, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to wait for 3 more people to try to answer. If 3 people go in between your 2 answers, so like if 3 more people guess and don't get it right, Nakhan can guess again. Is that fair?
I like it.
I think that's fair. So we give 3 more people the opportunity to guess. Ladies and gentlemen, no matter what we're doing up here, keep on guessing in the chat. How many guests have we had? And name at least half. If you get both of those right, get a free t-shirt.
Hey, if Nakhan gets to guess again and he gets it wrong, he owes me a beer.
All right, you heard it here. Not only does he not get a free shirt, he has to pay for beer for Gage. Not only a beer, he owes him a 6-pack.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Of his choice.
So one more question. I know that our people like to party, you know, like to go out and have some fun.
Oh yeah.
So what was that celebration like afterwards?
I mean, we tried to tone it down after the January incident, you know, the ankle, but I don't even remember the night, so
That tells you anything.
Didn't
right?
really tone it down, did we?
That's funny. Hey, at least you celebrated. You deserve to celebrate, you know, undefeated professionally. That's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, you end all your fights in the first round. It's looking good in the life of the Gremlin right now.
Yeah.
Speaking about the life of the Gremlin, what's next? Like, do you have another fight scheduled? Do you know what's coming up?
My coach was asked me to look at this fight in January on the 21st in Homa. I think I'm gonna do it, but yeah. So that's what we're looking at right now. I'm gonna be going up a weight class, but he's another guy. If I want to take it to the ground, I just end him right there.
Yeah.
I like the confidence, that's for sure. So, what you say going up a weight class? What kind of goes into that? Like deciding whether you're going to stay in the same, go up, go down. Just depends on who's out there to fight, or
Yeah, it's just the opponent. It's not because typically if we're the higher level we get to, we're gonna stay at the weight class I should be fighting at. Which I mean, I've been bantamweight my whole fight career so far, but I'm average to undersized for it because they got some people that's tall for the weight class, like 6 foot. So may end up going to 125 eventually, but yeah, it's just this special occasion. Certain guy, not worried about it, so that's the only reason going up.
Gotcha. How's the chat looking?
Let me check. Well, Thug Nasty gave away half of the answer. He said, my dad was asking what the question was.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, question is, who are 2 of 4 guests in the show? Nakhan came in quick with the Steve gave it away.
Steve did give it away. All right, so Thug Nasty, that's kind of messed up of you. We're not going to lie. We expected you to be better than that. I'm kind of upset with Thug Nasty right now. So I'm going to think of another question. And I will ask the other question when I think of it. We're gonna pivot. So yeah, Thug Nasty gave away the question. I thought he knew he wasn't allowed to answer. Like I thought that was.
Well, he wasn't answering.
But he said 2 of the 4.
He was trying to explain the question.
Yeah, just explained it.
Yeah, it's okay. Steve.
It's okay. We're not mad.
We forgive you.
We're not mad at you. Just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we're called off the dome.
The people should be mad at you.
We're called off the dome, so I'm sure we can think of another one.
Yeah, we'll think of another one, and when I think of it, I'll say it. But
just randomly. Like,
is there anything else you want to say about what's going on in the life of the Gremlin right now, or feel pretty comfortable? I mean, you should feel pretty comfortable after that last fight. That was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We're just taking it one fight at a time. We're going to slowly get better and better competition as we keep going. So slowly upgrade and take it, like I said, take it one fight at a time.
hell yeah.
Absolutely. And if y'all want to go back and watch that, go to Empire Fighting Championship on Facebook. That's how I found it. You can watch his fight. I mean, he's an entertaining fighter. He's fun to watch. And then, I mean, like we were saying, the fight was over in 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Once he got him on the ground, it was all gauged. So
Yeah, I feel like so we were watching it during the LSU game. I had it on my phone, and then when you came on, we paused the LSU game, put you up there. But I feel like just about every fight I watched that night ended in the first round, except for like one or two. I think one went the distance, and the other they got a knockout in like the second or third round. So it was a short night for Empire.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't one of the better cards. I mean, it's kind of hard to have a great card every single time, you know. I mean, I didn't even know most of the fighters. Usually I know a good bit of them. The only ones I really knew was a couple of my teammates that were fighting. So
How did they do?
we went 2-2 on a night. So we had me and three others. One won by ground and pound in the first round, and then one got knocked out, and then the other, he got rear naked choked in the second round. Just when he went against a wrestler, the dude just ran forward and he was just spazzing out.
I thought of another question. If it's good to go.
Okay.
So the second question on the night. Nobody spoil this one, please. Cameron, you are allowed to answer this one. You are back in for eligibility.
Still got to give me a beer if you get it wrong.
Beer still stands. So every now and then, we do a segment on our show about fantasy football. What is that segment called? We call it something very specific. It has a name for our fantasy football segment. What is that segment called? If you can tell me what it's called, then we'll get you a free T-shirt. Again, the people who are ineligible, Soundman, Byron's family, my family, and Steve.
And Steve's family.
And Steve's family. So the people who are the people who hold some sort of investment into the show.
Yeah. That's a good question because we don't do that segment tonight.
We don't do it tonight, and we don't do it every episode. So this is really for the people who actually listen to us and the people who support us. We want to give the people who support us something in return.
Tell you what, Cameron's going scramble through the previous videos.
Cameron is going to watch every single video we've ever made to try to find it because he wants a free T-shirt.
That's cheating.
But, all right, so let's get into some sports. Gage, you a big sports fan?
Okay, he got it.
He got it already? Knockan?
I hate this guy.
He did.
Knockan got the free T-shirt?
This segment is called the Fantasy 5.
It is indeed called the Fantasy 5 because we talk about fantasy football for 5 or more minutes. So, shout out Knockan.
Yeah, just text me your size
of T-shirt.
of shirt.
And then, just text him the size T-shirt you want, and we'll make sure we get it to you. No big deal. So, yeah, just go ahead and text Byron the size T-shirt you want, and we'll make sure you get it. Shout out Knockan. Thanks for participating. Yeah. We appreciate you. And either way, you still owe Gage a beer.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But anyway, we're going to get into some sports. What happened?
Soundman said size pick incoming.
We're going to get into some sports. First of all, on Saturday, we've got LSU in the SEC championship game. Nobody expected us to be here. I'm sure happy we are. I mean, coming off that loss against Texas A&M, which my coworker reminded me, this is SEC championship week, so we don't have to worry about anything that happened before. Just completely forget everything before the SEC championship. But we are 9-3 going in to face Georgia and Atlanta in the SEC championship. Nobody expected us to be here. Not a single soul. Not even me. Probably not even Brian Kelly.
Definitely not Reese.
Definitely not Reese. He took the under on their wins at 5.5. So sorry, Reese. But we're going to play Georgia. We'll be on CBS at 3:00. LSU 17.5 point underdogs on Saturday.
It might be for a good reason.
17.5. I mean, Georgia is
good.
dominant. Quick stats on Georgia. defending national champions. So you know they have the championship pedigree. Averaging 38 points and 489 yards per game. That's 7th in yards and 12th in points. So top 12 offense in both stats. On defense, they're allowing only 11 points per game and 271 yards per game. That's good for number 1 defense in points and number 4 in yards. So they are a top 4 defense and a top 12 offense in multiple categories.
Yeah. Like I said, it's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, I mean, Georgia, they some dogs.
Literally.
Yeah. I mean, they're just good. There's a reason they're at the top right now. There's a reason they're the number 1 seed. However, that being said, they do have weaknesses. We've seen them, they beat Kentucky in a very sloppy game. It was only 16-6 just 2 weeks ago. They were down at one point to Georgia Tech last week.
Yeah.
Almost lost to Mizzou earlier in the season. So it's not like they're without flaws, but they're about as close as you're going to get this season in college football. So I did a little deep dive into Georgia and was like, okay, what's their one weakness, if they have one? And it actually took me way longer than I thought to find a weakness on this Georgia team. Like why did they almost lose games? Why were the games that weren't supposed to be close? Why were they close? And what I found was the red zone offense. So Georgia's really good at moving the ball. They're really good at scoring, and they're really good at getting yards. But the problem is once they get in the red zone, they don't always convert. So 2 weeks ago against Kentucky, that 16-6 game I was talking about, they had 5 trips into the red zone and only scored on one of them. So that's 20%.
Yeah.
That's not good. I'll tell you that much. So number 1 team in the country, only 20% on a Kentucky defense that isn't really known for being the best defense in the SEC. And then the same thing against Mizzou. They went 1 for 3 in the red zone. So once they get into the red zone, they're not always the best team at scoring. So that's something we have to look at for Saturday, even if they are 17.5-point favorites against our LSU Tigers. That being said, stop talking about Georgia. Let's talk about LSU.
Okay.
Jaden Daniels got hurt. He's expected to play on Saturday, though. He said he's feeling good. He should be there. Josh Williams has sat out the past 2 games because they said, we don't want to risk him getting hurt. But he should be back this game. John Emery looked great. He was our only bright spot against Texas A&M.
Yeah.
So we have the backfield there. Our receivers are healthy. Malik Neighbors is playing way better than expected. Keyshawn Boutte not playing as good as expected, so it kind of balances out. And then that defense, inconsistent. Inconsistent, to say the least.
Yeah.
I mean, you go and you allow 10 points to an Arkansas team that had been scoring over 20, and then you allow 38 points to a Texas A&M team that barely scores 20.
Yeah.
So what LSU Tiger defense are we going to get this Saturday?
I hope we get the good one.
Fair enough.
Because, as we all saw last week, the bad one is very bad.
Very bad. When we're bad, we're bad.
But when we're good, we're great.
That's true. Gage, what you think about this LSU game? You got any thoughts?
I don't know. I feel like they just played their competition for the most part, but I have a feeling we're going to get stomped.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, we're going to do a score
Sorry.
prediction. No, we're going to do a score prediction, so we'll get you on that. We like to do keys to the game. How can we win? It's going to be hard for LSU. I'm not going to sit here and say, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, we've got the super realistic path to winning this game. I really believe in us, all this kind of stuff, because it's going to be tough. Georgia's a damn good football team. But if we somehow do a couple of things, we'll have a better shot. So why don't you go ahead, Byron, give us one key to this game.
All right. What I think a lot of teams, they kind of overlook it because they see Georgia's run defense and kind of automatically say, hey, we're just going to try and throw the ball.
Yeah, when you're going against an offense that scores a ton of points, you're like, oh yeah, we got to pass the ball to keep up.
But I'm going to go the opposite direction. I'm going to say establish the run game early. Okay, get that going to allow your offense to throw the deep ball, to set up play action passes, to keep the defense kind of reeling all game.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to say we have Derrick Henry in the backfield, but that's something you see in the NFL with Tennessee. That's how they win so many games, is because they hand the ball off 37 times, and then they'll take a deep shot to Traylon Burks, and then they'll end up scoring a touchdown. So I'm not trying to compare us to an NFL team. I'm not trying to compare us to Derrick Henry. I'm just saying you've seen it work on multiple levels. So that definitely could be something we see.
Especially playing a good defense. If you can keep them guessing, keep it a little unpredictable. I think our offense can maybe put up some points and keep us in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think LSU has any shot? And if we do, how do we do it? Like, I mean, you can be honest. That's what this is for. It's off the dome.
I don't know. I think they have the best success when they have Jaden Daniels scrambling everywhere.
That's true.
Very good point.
Who knows? I guess that would be their only chance, having him scrambling and having some play action passing going.
Yeah, just keep the defense on their toes because Jaden Daniels is one of the best dual threat quarterbacks.
Yeah, we have that one great play that we seem to run a lot, and it works pretty consistently. It's kind of like a option or a triple option, really, where Daniels can either hand it off, keep it himself, or throw
to the tight end
to Mason Taylor.
Yeah, it's a little a tight end motion RPO type thing. That's how we scored the 2-point against Bama. That's how we got all of our first downs against Arkansas. It felt like, whenever something doesn't work and we need 4 yards, that's what we do. So, I mean, maybe that'll help us. Maybe that motion game will help us. We'll see. I have a little bit of something different, something we don't normally think of. And my key to LSU winning is take risks. We have nothing to lose right now.
Yeah, all or nothing.
We literally have nothing to lose because we can't make the playoff. Even if we win this game, we can't make the playoff as a 3-loss team. They're not going to put in a 3-loss SEC champion. Georgia will make it even if they lose. We won't make it even if we win. So right now we have nothing to lose because even if we win this game, or lose this game, we're pretty much going to the Citrus Bowl because the Citrus Bowl is usually held for the 3rd best SEC team, which, whether we win or lose, we'll probably go to the Citrus Bowl. It's right outside of the New Year's Six, which I'm fine with going to a big name bowl like the Citrus Bowl in our first season with Brian Kelly as the head coach. If we're 9-3, if we're 10-3 or 9-4, either way, it's a success to me.
Yes.
So why not just take risks? Don't punt the ball on 4th and 1. Don't punt the ball on 4th and 2. Go for it. Do those little Mason Taylor option routes like you were saying. Have Jaden Daniels run one up the gut. Hand it off to Josh Williams. Do something. Just take risks. And, don't play like this is any other game because it's not any other game. Yeah. You have nothing to lose. Just drop them and go for it. Drop them and go for it. Deep balls, scrambles, play actions, quadruple options. I don't care what it is. Do something fancy. Just go for it. Let Jaden Daniels cook. Brian Kelly is a really good coach. As much as I've talked bad about him, he's a really good coach.
You've done that a lot.
I have talked a lot of bad about Brian Kelly, but he is a really good coach, and I believe in him to be able to coach a football team. So pull any stops out you got, Brian.
And think about what this does for next year and the years following. They see, an LSU team who wasn't supposed to be good by any means doing this. It's going to draw some attention, bring in some new recruits.
Yeah, and, other schools seeing this being like, oh, shoot, LSU wasn't even supposed to be good this year, and they made it to the SEC championship. Imagine when they are supposed to be good, what they can do. I mean, we won the national championship 3 years ago, and nobody expected that team to win. I'm just saying this team looks a lot like our 2018 team, which was the year before we won.
Yeah.
So, you never know. I'm trying to be positive, man.
We can't compare them to the following season.
No.
No, they got to prove themselves for that.
So, I'm trying to be positive. I'm trying to talk us up, give us some keys. Byron, give us one more before we go into what the score is going to be.
All right, I'm throw back to last week. We saw, our offensive and defensive line pretty much get dominated all game, which was, kind of the opposite, which we had been seeing for the most part of the season. We've seen our offensive line, especially with all these, young freshmen, and our offensive line was kind of destroyed before the season even started, and they held their own pretty well. Coming off of that Florida game, they learned and they improved.
Yep.
And then it looked like last week it just all went out the window.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
And same goes for the defensive line. They just weren't getting enough pressure. And so I think that if we can even halfway win the battle in the trenches this week, we can get, some things to fall our way. Might have a breakthrough in the defensive line, maybe get a few TFLs. Protect Jaden Daniels a little more, let him scramble, let the pocket set up, let him throw the deep ball. So I think the battle in the trenches is key.
It's going to be tough because Georgia always has a really good D-line. Every single year they've got a D-lineman going in the first round. Last year they had 2 going in the top 15. So, and they've got one who's probably going to go in the top 5 in the next draft. Carter on the interior line there. So, I mean, they've got talent, but we'll see if our true freshmen can hold up. That's for sure. That'll be a test for them. Can you handle Georgia? And if they can, I feel really good about our future.
Yeah.
That being said,
hold on.
Okay.
I'll take it to the comments real quick. Soundman says, well, he thinks if we win, we will go to the Sugar Bowl.
Possible. I mean, it depends on how the committee feels about Bama.
Yeah. That's
either us or Bama in the Sugar Bowl.
And then we have Glenn Crowdis.
Shout out, Mr. Glenn. How you doing?
Said, we have to throw the ball to win. Georgia will stop the run. The wide receivers need to be involved. We can't run against this team. Need to take shots down the field.
Still got to mix it up, I think, though.
Yeah, I mean, and, we could do what they call extensions of the run, those short little quick screen passes.
Yeah.
Malik Neighbors is an electrifying athlete. Get the ball in his hands. RPOs, play actions to Brian. I mean, Brian Thomas is a great receiver who I feel like doesn't get enough love. I've talked about him a lot. So, I mean, if we can't get the run going, obviously we're going to have to stick to the pass. But I think your point was just you can't just completely abandon the run and never try it. Yeah. You've got to at least try.
Yeah. Especially, if it doesn't work the first few attempts, don't completely give up on it.
No. But, I mean, that being said, if you're trying to run the entire first quarter, you run the ball 15 times and you get 12 yards.
Yeah.
Time to start airing it out. But, with that being said, let's do some score predictions. Byron, why don't you start us off? Gage, you'll give us one, and then I'll end it.
All right. So I do have LSU beating the spread, which is 17.5.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully.
I have LSU 17, Georgia 30.
I mean, we do beat the spread. We still get, beat by double digits. But if the final score is 30-17, I don't feel that bad, I guess. I had some of my friends at work saying it's going to be like 45-10, and I'm like, oh, that's vicious. Gage, what are we thinking? Final score on Saturday. Rough estimate. Off the dome.
I was thinking more like 38-17.
I mean, we wouldn't beat the spread in that case, but I could see it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to say it's implausible. But, I've got a higher scoring affair here.
What you got?
So I think Georgia is going to stick to their roots and score a bunch of points. They're going to score 38. That's what I got in my brain. But I feel like LSU is going to come up with some fancy stuff.
Oh.
I feel like we're going to take risks and we're going to make them pay off. I've got us scoring 28. 38-28 is what I've got the final score being. I think a lot of our points will be scored in the fourth quarter because I think going into the fourth, it'll probably be like 38-7. And then we'll score some in the fourth quarter to give us false hope.
Nussie might come in.
I was thinking like 38-24 at first, but I felt like that was giving them too much.
We'll give you 38-24 to make it sound better. Sweet. I'm just kidding. But,
whatever it ends closer to, we'll give it to them.
Yeah. But unfortunately, none of us have LSU winning. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I hope we don't win because I literally go to LSU. I have a degree from LSU. I love the Tigers with more than anything in me. But we got to be realistic on this podcast. We're not here to...
I'll get right back to you on that, sound man. Let me look at it.
We're not here to blow bubbles.
Over-under.
We're not here to blow bubbles. We're here to talk shop. Moving on from one Louisiana team to another, we're going to talk about the Saints for a little bit. A team that's not very exciting to watch this year. I don't really enjoy them.
I don't watch them at all.
Got
over-under for the LSU game?
Over-under is 51.5.
We all have it going over, right?
Yes.
That math is working in my brain?
No, I don't.
You don't?
I have 47.
I definitely have it going over, that's for sure. And then either way, Gage has it going over too. Yes. 38-17, 38-24, doesn't matter. But I would take the over in LSU spread if I were to bet a parlay in the sound man fashion of only 2 legs.
No, he probably will. He said he likes the spread.
Parlays always hurt my feelings.
tell me about it. But yeah, last game for the Saints, 13-0. We got shut out. First Saints team in history to both shut out a team and get shut out in the same season, and then the first time we were shut out in 20 years. So, it was a painful Sunday for the Saints. This week, we will not have a painful Sunday because we're playing on Monday.
Sweet.
So, there's a positive.
Well, fantasy teams might have a painful Sunday.
We're not going to talk about fantasy. But, yeah, we're playing on Monday night against the Buccaneers in Raymond James in Tampa. We're opening as 3.5-point underdogs. I'm honestly surprised it's only 3.5 points. I would have expected it to be closer to 5 or 6.
Yeah, I think Tampa Bay's kind of...
But they're not great either.
That's what I'm
saying. They just lost to the Browns.
They're kind of reeling it, especially after that loss.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, Saints haven't been good. Have you been watching much Saints football?
Nah, I don't think I've watched one game this season.
Can't do it, huh?
No.
Too painful.
Yeah, don't blame you.
I would say the biggest thing with the Saints this year is, two big things. One is the quarterback controversy, because that's a whole beast that we don't even need to tackle, because hopefully neither of them are our starter next year. I'll put it that way. I say we go on 17, take for Caleb Williams, but that's a whole nother subject.
So we finally draft a quarterback this year, or what?
I don't know, because we don't have a first-round pick. Do we take Will Levis in the second? Do we? I don't know I don't know.
I think we hit the market, pick up Jimmy Garoppolo.
I wouldn't be opposed. I think he's better than either of the quarterbacks we have now. That's for sure. It depends how much money he wants, though. Because if the 49ers succeed this year, he's going to want a bag.
Mm-hmm.
But, the quarterback, we'll talk about quarterbacks later. Right now,
I also think it sets it up good for a team that wants Jimmy G because of the contract he was just offered. The 1-year deal wasn't a lot of money because he was expected to be a backup.
yeah.
I think that any increase from that would, kind of open his eyes.
Yeah. But, I mean, he's also got to stay true to himself, being like, hey, and not, if they make it to the NFC Championship again, it's going to be hard for him to take, bottom quarterback money. He's going to want top 10 quarterback money because he's like, I just made the NFC Championship, and y'all didn't even want me here. Imagine if I go to a team that wants me. But,
Salman said, Tom Brady is a free agent, FYI.
Yeah, apparently he's going back to New England. Did you see that?
I just saw that earlier.
There's no way.
There was a report that he might go back to New England. I guess, he only went to Florida for Giselle, and now she's gone anyway, so he might as well go be cold again. Cold-hearted man to live in the cold New England winters.
How old is he?
Like 40 no, I think he's 45. He's like 97.
We'll call him 46.
He's Ginny. But I wanted to mention the Saints' injuries from today. So, get ready for this list. It might take me 3 minutes. Josh Andrews, limited. JT Gray did not practice. Mark Ingram, limited. Jawan Johnson did not practice. Jarvis Landry, Marshawn, and Ryan Ramczyk, all limited. Marshawn is listed as out. Malcolm Roach and Bradley Roby both did not practice. Rashid Shaheed, limited. Kentavia Street and Peyton Turner both did not practice. Pete Werner is limited, and Kevin White and P.J. Williams all did not practice.
That's a long list, but
15 names on our injury report today.
But what they could be doing is resting them since we don't play till Monday. Get them an extra day of rest.
Fair.
Because normally teams that play on Sunday will be having full practice and everything.
Yeah,
on Thursday.
Yeah, I mean,
so we could be taking advantage of this extra day of rest.
True. The only thing that worries me is Werner hasn't played in a while. Don't know if he's going to be back. Lattimore's out, and we have Mike Evans coming into town. If Mike Evans plays against Lattimore, he does absolutely nothing. If Mike Evans doesn't play against Lattimore, he gets 7 catches for 141 yards and a touchdown. So,
I think we put Alontae Taylor on him. He's been having a great year.
Adebo has also improved. We'll see what we do to stop those weapons for Tampa Bay.
I think we should just put on the one who would aggravate him the most. Get him kicked out.
Again, like he does every year. But yeah, it's going to be in Tampa Bay. We've won 4 straight in Tampa. Even the year they won the Super Bowl, we beat them in Tampa. So it's not like we don't know how to beat them. We know how to beat them. We've only lost to them once in the regular season since Tom Brady has gone to Tampa. But, this kind of is a toss-up game. One team's 5-6, one team's 4-8. Neither one of them are very impressive. Both are still in the running for the division, as crazy as it sounds. How do you feel about this game, and how are we going to win it?
So I think the first and foremost thing is our defense. I know we're battling injuries, but I think if we can shut down Tom Brady early, force him to make a few mistakes early in the game, that'll keep pressure on him for the rest of it, and just kind of keep him reeling all game, question his every throw. You know, if we can get a turnover early, like in the first quarter, I think it'll set us up great.
Yeah.
Because we've seen that Tampa offense crumble under pressure.
Yeah, and we do have the worst turnover margin in the entire NFL, so we'll see if we can cause the turnover. We're negative 14 at the moment. So I don't know if we can even cause turnovers this year. I don't know if our defense remembers how to do that. But I think our defense played good enough last week for us to win.
Yeah.
They held one of the best offenses in the league to 13 points. So if our offense had met the same intensity that our defense had, we might have pulled something out in San Fran last week, but it didn't happen for us. We'll see what happens in Tampa this week. Kind of building off of what I said for LSU, take risks. I mean, what do the Saints have going for them this season? If we keep losing games, we don't have a draft pick to tank for.
Yeah.
If we keep winning games, we literally could still win the division.
Yeah. If we win this game,
we're
only
4-8, and if we win this game, we're a half a game out of the lead. I mean, it's gross. The NFC South stinks. We have no business even being close to sniffing the playoffs right now, but somehow we are.
And every team in the NFC South is.
Yeah, I mean, so take risks. You know, go for it on fourth down, and biggest thing, don't fizzle out in the red zone.
Yeah.
Kind of like I talked about with Georgia, the red zone offense stunk for them. It stinks for us, too. We typically either get sacked out of field goal range somehow or have to kick field goals. So once we get in the reds or fumble on the goal line 3 times this year. So if we can convert once we get in the red zone, because we can get there, it's just making it count once we get there. So defense and red zone offense. Let's make those 2 count, and we might pull something out. That being said, do you think we do win? And if so, what's the score looking like?
I think if the defense that showed up last week shows up again, I think we can win this game, and I think we will win this game. I'm going to go Saints 17, Bucks 10.
Yeah, I don't know what the over-under is on this game, but whatever it is, I'd probably take the under.
I'll look that up, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Gage, I know you said you haven't watched much Saints football. Do you have any idea of what may happen on Monday night?
Saints lose.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
The over-under
don't look
is
good.
40.5.
40.5. I would take the under on that.
Yeah.
I think the Saints can win. And for some reason, if Dennis Allen has any team figured out, it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
We played them in week 2, and we were winning it. We were close the entire game until the fourth quarter when Jameis threw 3 picks in 9 plays. So it's not like we couldn't have won that game. We could have won that game, too.
We were set up to win that game.
We were set up to win that game, and then the refs and Evans and Lattimore and Jameis just all decided to be like, who cares?
I'm ready to go home.
I'm ready to fight. Yeah, I want to be Gage Gill in the ring and just start throwing punches. But if we don't fight this game, I feel like we can win. If we start fighting, there's no way we win because we don't have enough players to play anyway. But, yeah, you know what? I'm going to be positive. Since I took LSU to lose, the Saints are going to redeem us. Saints are going to win 20-16.
Okay.
Give me the Saints dub. So we both have the Saints winning. Unfortunately, our buddy here doesn't see it.
Yeah,
but
he's calling it blunt. We're kind of
we're being hopeful here.
False hope,
He's kind of being like, dude, shut up. Saints aren't going to win.
I mean, they both suck, so.
Yeah, fair. Who cares who wins? They both stink. Let's be honest. Speaking about wins, Soundman doesn't know how to stop winning in betting.
Yeah.
That man is on a hot streak like no one has ever
I feel
seen.
like every episode,
All
when we
we
get
say
to
is-
the bets, it's Soundman hit.
And we didn't.
We did not.
Which is what happened with our Monday Night Football parlays. Soundman hit his. We did not. You know, he was trying to teach us, stop doing 4-leg parlays. Just do 2 legs. That's all you need.
I was only
Pick a money line, pick a spread, and then pick an over and under.
I was only 14 passing yards short of hitting mine.
Yeah. Well, I was a team. I was a team away because I was the only one who picked the Colts.
Yeah.
Steelers won. My other 2 legs hit, but that one didn't. But yeah, Soundman hit his parlay. We did not. To make up for it, we're going to do a parlay for tonight's Thursday night football game, which is going to be coming on in about 15 minutes. So we'll make sure to try to get out of here so y'all can go watch that game. Thursday night football on Amazon Prime. Tonight, it's going to be the Bills versus the Patriots. We're going to talk about it in just a little bit after we go into our road dogs. If you watched the show before, you know we do our road dogs. That is a team that is going on the road and is a betting underdog. Start us off.
For tonight's game, I have the Bills money line and Ramondre Stevenson and Stephon Diggs anytime touchdown, which combined is plus 507.
It's great odds. But the only thing I told you before the show is somehow the Patriots always shut down a number 1 receiver, except for last week when they could not shut down Justin Jefferson. He had a day. And if there's any 2 receivers in the league who can figure out their way around Bill Belichick, it's Justin Jefferson and it's Stephon Diggs. So Stephon Diggs very well could score a touchdown. I think the other 2 are basically guarantees for me. Being that I just said what I just said, Stephon Diggs is going to be the only leg that hits. But I also did a parlay for tonight. I'm looking at Bills money line to agree with you. I'm taking the over of 43.5. I think it's a division rivalry. They're going to go at each other. Both teams are used to the cold. I don't think that'll affect either one of them. And I like that Bills offense to score. And then my last leg is a Gabe Davis anytime touchdown. The only reason I say Gabe Davis is because they're really good at shutting down a number 1 receiver. It's going to open opportunities for the second and third receivers like Gabe Davis and Isaiah McKenzie. So I think he has an opportunity to score a touchdown. It's a risk. The only reason I put it in there is to kind of boost the odds. And that's at plus 536.
Soundman's got one too. He's got a Bills spread, which is minus 4. Good spread.
Mm-hmm.
And the over, which is at 43.5, plus 264.
I love that bet. He's definitely hitting.
I don't know.
If I had money, I would bet it too.
If it's anything like the December game last year.
Oh, when literally, like they threw, 5 passes all game?
Yeah, and the Patriots threw 1.
Yeah.
And won the game.
True. Very true. So we'll see. But I like the Bills to win. We're going to get into a little bit more breakdown and score predictions and stuff for the Bills-Patriots game. But that's our parlays. We all have the Bills to win, which is kind of a teaser. You have any thoughts on that game? Bills versus Patriots?
All I know is they better not shut down Stephon Diggs because he's on my fantasy.
I hear that. That's fair. That's fair. And then road dogs. Byron, what's your road dog?
This is a tough decision for me. But I ended up going with the team who had a great win last week in the Jacksonville Jaguars. Or plus 1.5 in Detroit.
I can't let you say that
for minus 114.
I can't let you say that.
Well, I did, and you dropped your phone.
When I'm wearing my Detroit Lions shirt, okay? My Detroit Lions are going to smoke the Jags by 14.
I'll hold you to that.
Yeah, your road dog's not hitting this week, bud. That smoke machine's coming back out. Tell you that. My road dog is for my favorite game of the week.
Good game.
It's going to be so. I think this might be one of the contenders for best game all season. It's going to be when the Miami Dolphins go to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. 2 of the hottest teams in football right now. 2 of the best teams in football right now. They are both playing really, really well. And the Dolphins are underdogs at 3.5 points. I think I like the Dolphins to cover that 3.5. If they lose, I think they can lose by 3 or less. So I'm going to take the Dolphins to cover 3.5 points against the San Francisco 49ers. You can get those odds at minus 104.
Soundman said something that I very much agree with.
Which is?
Super Bowl preview?
It very well could be. Definitely not the teams I picked to go to the Super Bowl.
One of the teams I picked.
Yeah, you picked the 49ers. I picked the Eagles and the Chargers. Eagles are looking really good. Chargers are the most inconsistent team in football. So, can't count on them. But a Dolphins 49ers Super Bowl would probably be really fun. Really, really fun. Good story for Mike McDaniel, former coach in San Francisco. Now he's the head coach at Miami, and he is a very unique individual, to say the least. But he's fun. So going back into that Thursday night game, we'll get into it real quick. That way y'all can go ahead and watch it. Bills versus Patriots. Bills are 3.5 point favorites right now. Buffalo going into New England, 3.5 point favorites. Bills are on top of their division right now, 8-3. Kind of hit a bump in the road over like a 4-week period. Josh Allen got hurt. They were losing games they shouldn't have been losing, but they beat my Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving because the Lions gave them 23 seconds on the clock for Josh Allen to go down the field, and that's exactly what happened. So 28-25 beat the Lions on Thanksgiving. That's the last time we saw them. Last time we saw Patriots was also on Thanksgiving when they played against the Minnesota Vikings. They took a loss, 33-26, and they are sitting at 6-5 right now. If the season ended today, all 4 AFC East teams would be in the playoffs. I projected that for the AFC West, but it's looking like the AFC East might be the division to do it.
Same with the NFC East.
Yeah, that's crazy, huh?
Go
The
Niners.
NFL. The NFL is quite insane. But what are you looking to see out of tonight's matchup? What do you think we see?
I don't think it's gonna be low scoring, but I don't think it's gonna be high scoring either. Cold. Probably a lot of run game going from both sides. That being said, I'm gonna go Bills 24, Patriots 20.
Which is crazy because the over-under set at 43.5, and you got it at 44 points. So you're right on with Vegas.
And the spread was 3.5.
Yeah, I mean, can't ask for much better there. You were projecting Vegas to be right on the nose.
Yep.
I'm not going along the same lines because I do have that over, but I think a little bit more points will be scored. I think this is Josh Allen's first game back after full practice. He has not had a full practice since he had that elbow injury. His first full practice was this week. He's back. He's healthy. He's going to pass the ball. He's going to run the ball, and he's going to lead the Bills to a win. I've got the Bills winning 30-20. Gage, what are you thinking about tonight's game? Do you have a winner?
I got the Bills all day.
Bills all day.
Bills
He's got
day.
Diggs catching 3 touchdowns.
And I got Josh Allen on my other fantasy team. So
Okay, so
they
Gage
gotta turn
needs
up.
Gage needs a big day from the Bills offense. He's thinking like 55-4.
Yes. That one.
I don't know how the Patriots are going to score 4 points, but it's going to happen.
Every touchdown for the Bills, Allen to Diggs.
Allen to Diggs
Yes.
7 times in the game.
Clutch.
Before we get out of here, we do it every week. We pick all of the NFL games over the weekend, completely off the dome. We don't really look at the matchups before here. We just look at them right here, pick who we think is going to win. Let's do it. First game on the docket, Pittsburgh at Atlanta.
I'm gonna go Pittsburgh.
Got a pick?
Pittsburgh.
I will also go Pittsburgh. Green Bay at Chicago.
Chicago.
I'm gonna also go Chicago because Aaron Rodgers not looking good.
Aaron Rodgers might not even play because he's hurt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not looking
But
good for him to play.
you remember last year when he said, "I own you, and I have always owned you."
But he might not play.
It doesn't
He
matter. He,
probably
owns them.
won't play. Actually,
He owns them. I don't care. I'm gonna go Green Bay, because I just Chicago got blown out by Mike White. I mean, I'm not worried about who the quarterback for the other team is. I'm taking Green Bay. Jacksonville at Detroit.
Jacksonville.
My Detroit Lions. New York Jets at Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Minnesota, no doubt.
I'm also taking Minnesota. Commanders at Giants.
This might be one of my favorite matchups.
Two,
so far.
I mean, a 7-4 team and a 7-5 team in the same division. It should be a good one for sure.
But I'm gonna go Manders.
I got the Giants.
This one's tough for me. I think it's a toss-up. I think it's going to be really close, but I'm going to also take the Giants. Tennessee at Philadelphia, also contender for best game of the week. Philadelphia's best team in the NFL by record. Tennessee's playing really, really well under Mike Vrabel right now. Who do you got winning this game?
Philly.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to go against Philly. And I think it'll probably be a pretty good close game, though.
Oh, I think it's going to be a great game.
I think it's going to be a really good game. I mean,
I just think Philly has the better offense.
yeah. I mean, I agree. I think Tennessee plays every team close. Like, you don't see Tennessee. Excuse me. You don't see Tennessee get blown out. It just doesn't happen, and it's not going to happen this week either. But I'll still take Philly in a close one due to Jalen Hurts. Snooze fest of a game. Denver at Baltimore.
Baltimore.
I don't care about either of these teams, but I'll take Baltimore as well. Gage, who you got?
Let's ride. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my! I was so worried
I'm
about
kidding.
you.
I'm kidding. Definitely Baltimore.
He has still scored less touchdowns this year than he has bathrooms in his house. My favorite stat is Russell Wilson has scored less touchdowns than bathrooms in his house. The biggest snooze fest, though, Cleveland at Houston.
I don't know if.
However,
it's fast.
It is Deshaun Watson's first game back, and he's going back to Houston. What a storyline.
Yeah, I think they did this on purpose.
Oh, absolutely. They did this on purpose. They were like, when does Deshaun play Houston again? Oh, yeah, that's when he can come back. So,
So I was scrolling through Twitter today.
Mhm.
I'm gonna speed this up because it looks like we're running out of camera battery. But so I was going through Twitter and I saw a video of Deshaun at practice for the first time, and he looked good. His receivers, however, did not.
dropped every ball.
And so I clicked on it. The first comment I saw said, "Must have been massage oil on those balls."
All right. So who are you going to win
And
the game?
because of that comment, I'm going Cleveland.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going Cleveland as well.
Cleveland's a better team. I'll take Cleveland. Seattle at the Rams.
Seattle.
I don't really know. I guess
Fair.
I'm gonna have to go with Byron on this one. Seattle.
Yeah, I agree. The Rams are so bad. I mean,
They don't have a starting quarterback anymore.
yeah, I
so-
think John Walford's starting for them. So
Hell yeah.
if you know who John Walford is, no, you don't. Miami at San Fran. I talked about it a little bit. I know I'd pick their spread, but I'm also going to pick them to win. I'll go Miami.
I'm also going to go Miami. They're hot.
They're hot.
I just want to see Miami win. So yeah, Miami.
Fair enough. Let's go Dolphins. Kansas City at Cincinnati. They had an absolute shootout last year. Jamar Chase had one of the craziest games I've ever seen, and he might be back this week.
That's what I was about to say. Cincinnati is coming back healthy this week.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase. Their offense is coming back together this week. I'm going to go Cincy.
I'm gonna go Cincy, but I need a shootout between both quarterbacks, and I need Burrow to toss the ball to T. Higgins in the end zone like 3 times.
I agree. I have a fantasy team that I just traded for Joe Mixon today. Just traded for Joe Mixon, and I also already on that team had Joe Burrow and T. Higgins. So I've got that offense, and I need them to pop off. And for fantasy football reasons, I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals.
All in for Cincy.
Chargers at the Raiders. They played earlier in the season. They're matching up for a second time. It was a good game the first time. I expect a good one again, but I'm going with the Chargers.
I'm going to stick with you on that one. I'm going to also say Chargers.
Sweet.
Chargers for sure.
All right, and then the last game we are going to cover it is Sunday Night Football. Indianapolis Colts at the Dallas Cowboys. This one's pretty easy for me. I'm going with the Cowboys.
Me too. Their defense has just been huge all season.
Yeah.
And I don't think Indy's offense is going to be the one to stifle them.
No, absolutely not. I would agree.
And with that, I'm going to give my salute now.
Because he's got to go
and
take
head
care of
to
the camera.
Control room.
Shout out to Soundman Jr. over here, literally.
Yeah.
But you know that was the Off the Dome for tonight. Thank you so much for coming in, Gage. I know Byron really appreciates it. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I know all the people at home really appreciate it too. So before we get out of here, just remind you, She Might Be a Beast on Wednesday coming into Radio House Studios. Make sure to check that out. Thug Nasty and Shane is going to be hosting that. That'll be really fun. So go ahead and check that out. Don't forget about T-shirts. If you want a T-shirt, go ahead and email offthedomesportspod@gmail.com with your size, name, address, and email address, and we'll make sure to get you one. And then Knockhand, remember to text Byron. You'll get your free one for answering that question. Thank you, everyone, for watching the Off the Dome Sports Podcast. We appreciate you. We love you, and we'll see you next time.